So Rivals just released the Season 7 trailer, including the new characters Black Cat and White Fox coming to the game. And the Twitter police are offended that Black Cat is lore accurate to her comics. In other words, she's a well-endowed woman. Oh my gosh, how offensive, how problematic. We'll take a look at their complaints, of course, but this is also reminiscent to the beginning of Rivals, when people on Twitter and Reddit, these modern audience types, were similarly complaining about the female character designs. And especially, you might recall, when Sue Storm was released as Invisible Woman and received the Malice skin, to which there was immense rage. Now, of course, it's well known in the Rivals community that the devs do seem to enjoy leaning into this, that being the well-endowed women that they have in the game. And lots of Rivals players are very well aware of this, and they go on to meme about it. So there's a big difference. Let's establish this right now. There's, of course, a big difference between acknowledging that and memeing about it versus actually being genuinely offended and crying on twitter.com or Reddit. That takes us over to this tweet with almost 10,000 likes that goes on to read, "The way Marvel Rivals portrays its female characters will always keep me from wanting to actually play the game." Oh gosh, what are the devs going to do? That's horrible news for them. Oh no. However, the OP is getting destroyed in the quote tweets and responses. For example, this one that goes on to reply to the OP with evidence and saying, "You cannot make that argument with the character who's always been depicted this way in the comics, LMAO." That takes us over to the subreddit Marvel Rivals Queens, where they are also complaining about this. But hold on a second, what exactly is the subreddit Marvel Rivals Queens anyways? Well, according to them, it is the OG Marvel Divas and Queens, a community for the queens, the he's, the she's, the theys, and everyone in between to enjoy and discuss Marvel Rivals. This is a safe space created for LGBTQ people, women, and anyone else who feels unwelcome in gaming spaces. Why do they have to make it so cringe sounding? Oh my gosh, it's so pretentious. But anyways, this post that we're returning to says, "Call me woke, but am I the only one insanely bothered by this shot alone?" So the shot comes from the trailer when she's balancing on that wire. And you know what? Sure, you could argue it looks a little bit awkward. And personally, I do like the White Fox design more. I like the suit and everything. It's got a classy vibe going on. But again, these people just sound so obnoxious, and it actually gets even worse, because the whining in the replies is off the charts. "This game has always had possible deniability." Okay, yeah, it's definitely the right terminology there. "With quote-unquote comic accuracy. But this season is really pushing it and making the Gooner game allegations worse. How you freaking escape the absolute troglodytes my post about this image brought out is beyond me. This is the single most misogynistic image I've seen in months. And me trying to talk about it set some of these frickers on a mission to trash on me endlessly. When they said this would be the gayest season, and I saw this, then went, quote, 'This is for straight men,' unquote." So that person makes it sound like the they in that context is the devs, or at the very least, some sort of NetEase employee, right? But that's not the case at all. No one from NetEase said this would be the gayest season, because here's what actually happened. A Canadian gaming journalist named Miller Ross, who even writes for notorious activist outlet PC Gamer, had this clip of him posted that says Miller Ross has confirmed Season 7 will be the gayest season of Marvel Rivals so far, and a 7-second clip of Miller Ross saying this.
"Why is 7 the gayest? We'll have to have that conversation after you know who's in it."
So that's literally it. The rest of the clip is just silence, but now you have Redditors and activist outlet The Gamer also running with this, saying stuff like, "Unless we're all getting queer baited, it sounds like Marvel Rivals is finally getting some more LGBTQ plus rep." Look at this. They go on to write, "Today, we got our first look at White Fox and Black Cat in Rivals. White Fox doesn't have a confirmed sexuality, but in her previous appearances across different media, Black Cat, aka Felicia Hardy, is bisexual. Now, that alone wouldn't be much, but this comes at the same time we were told that Season 7 would be the gayest season of Rivals yet. So fans have started to connect the dots, and many are getting their hopes up." Many are getting their hopes up. Yeah, okay, journalists. The only thing many are getting their hopes up for in the context of Season 7 is better game balancing. Let me also point out where this journalist says that Black Cat being bisexual alone wouldn't be much. There's already an issue in the LGBT community with bisexual hate from other LGBT people and like bisexual erasure. And that phrasing is really not helping this already prevalent issue. But I think what they're getting at is they're not going to be happy if Rivals adds characters that are canonically in Marvel Comics LGBT. They want to see like actual intimate sexual acts in game. And it's like, dude, this is a hero shooter. Come on. The same people that are going to get mad at Gooner skins being in game are going to demand that there's actual like on-screen gay sexual acts. It's like, dude, do they even hear themselves? Journalists like this and those Redditors we took a look at a moment ago, are the exact sort of people dragging the LGBT community down. And this has all been a pretty good example of that. Ever since Rivals released, couch activists have been complaining. Look at this one. Can't get into Marvel Rivals with how sexualized the female characters are. I already know how the majority of you here will react, and I don't care. Oh, I'm just going to take time to tell you how much I don't care and make this whole post, but sure, bro. Before anyone harps comic accurate designs, there are responsibilities and choices creators and artists make when producing for society. Oh my gosh. I was just talking about how obnoxious these people sound, and that is actually one of the most obnoxious things I've read today. My gosh. Especially when we go back in time to adapt problematic representation that were okay back then. We already practiced correcting racist or homophobic depictions, fixing the offensive and harmful caricatures that affected specific groups of people. We understand we interact together and how we influence each other, how art and entertainment adds and is affected by culture and politics. We understand how misrepresentation isolates those groups of people and influences/justifies their mistreatment. So instead of a fresh take or fixing the already problematic designs, Marvel reinforces them. You do understand that this game's made by NetEase, right? I swear these people don't even know what they're talking about most of the time. But let's finish. The female character designs are disappointing, especially Sue Storm's Malice skin. Oh, there we go. Talked about that earlier, actually in the intro, how these people would complain about that. A reach when she has other adaptable costumes. That doesn't make it a reach. What do you mean? It's pretty much just like her comic one is. There's some differences, obviously, but like her having other costumes to pick doesn't make the Malice skin a reach. That's not even how you use that terminology. Out of all the choices I felt most comfortable with, Squirrel Girl, who was still juiced up compared to her original design, like the other women. Gaming can be tiring for us because this is the norm. I just want to play as a super. The boys don't have to be sexualized to convince us to play, but it would be very nice if it's done to the gals. Huh. Somehow this is controversial to say, since everyone plays the game. Why is only one specific group sexualized and isolated, even when we know how marginalized the group already is? Edit. This is why I post here. Y'all make women feel like they have to go to girl gamers, LMAO. Nah, the culture here versus there is palpable. Yeah, for the record, there's a lot of men in Rivals that are also sexualized. And that's been becoming more and more the case as well. So to be fair, that post is a year old. It wasn't as much the case back then, but even back then they were. So for this person to dismiss all of that as if it's not happening when it was, is just a very clear bias, and it seems like they're just trying so hard to whine about something. You want to talk about reaching. This post is a reach. A reach for the sake of like whining about something on Reddit. It doesn't get much more low than that. Anyways, in closing, I will once again restate that I do actually prefer the White Fox design significantly more than the Black Cat design, but these people sounded so cringe. Oh gosh. Let me know what you guys think about the latest news here. Thank you for tuning in. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.